Boxing truth here. Demetrius Andrade is now desperate to get in the ring with the Charlo brothers. How the tables have turned when it comes to this situation. Once upon a time, it was Demetrius Andrade on top, the reigning WBO 154-pound champion, looking down on the Charlo brothers as the Charlo brothers were barking for a fight against Andrade. They were climbing up the rankings, trying to get to that top. And now the situation has reversed. The Charlo brothers are now on top, and they're looking down upon Demetrius Andrade. And Demetrius Andrade has no one else to blame but himself for the situation he's in. And right now, he's not handling it very well. It's been 2 years since that dumbass business decision he made that cost him opportunities, money, and delayed his career to the point where now he's still feeling the effects 2 years later. And Andrade's not handling very well. Doesn't like that the Charlo brothers are ahead of him. They're on top, and he's looking up at them, trying to get to that same position he was at before. Thing is, Andrade had his chance to fight one of the Charlo brothers. He had a chance to fight the weaker of the two brothers. It wasn't the type of money he wanted. I still think it was a significant purse compared to what he was making prior to that. I'm not sure if it was his career best payday. I think it was, but I'm not too sure about that. But I get it. He was on a card where he felt disrespected. He was the only legitimate true world champion at the time when they were discussing about with Jermell Charlo, the weaker of the two brothers. And he didn't like the purse he was being offered, considering that Keith Thurman, who was a fake-ass champion at the time, and an overrated-ass Amir Khan were getting much more significant purses compared to him, and they weren't champions. Demetrius Andrade was the only legitimate champion that was being presented for that card. So he opted to walk away from the Jermell Charlo fight. Would have been good exposure. Perhaps he would have got an opportunity to J-Rock Jermell Charlo. Because Andre should have beaten Jermell Charlo. I mean, Jermell ain't shit. His brother's the true fighter in that fighting family. He's the better fighter. He's the bigger puncher. Jermell, he ain't much. Decent, but nothing. Not even nothing compared to his brother. Should have been a good showcase fight for Andre. Get some exposure. Possibly could have dropped him, and he would be at a much better position had he took that fight in comparison to what happened, what transpired. He walked away from the fight, walked away from a significant payday, around the mid six figures, close to 500K. Tries to sign with Rock Nation, a promotional company that doesn't know jack shit about the boxing business. That was mistake number one. Try to sign with them. They try to wine him and dine him, say all this good shit about him, saying that he's marketable, that they can make him a star. These are neophyte promoters that haven't done jack shit in the boxing business. They put on some big fights, but I don't think they've made any money in the sport because they don't know how to negotiate contracts with fighters. They're going to lose millions of dollars for the next Cotto Showcase pay-per-view against Kirkland. The only reason why that fight's on pay-per-view is because HBO is not going to put down a $10 million license fee. Why would they? You guys would rather they put that bullshit fight on HBO and then we get no other fights for the rest of the year? Put it on pay-per-view. Give the public the option to pay $70 for it or not. That's the good thing about pay-per-view. It's your choice if you want to watch it or not. Instead of HBO wasting their budget on this bullshit fight, a showcase fight, just to get Cotto back in the winning column. And now Andrade, he got hustled by Rock Nation, was promised the same type of money that he would have gotten for the Jermell Charlo fight. He never got it. He's still in litigation with them. He re-signed with the promoters he tried to break from in Banner Promotions. But it's a different type of deal. He has his own promotional company now. It's not what it was before, so he has a little more control, but it's come to a point where Andrade is just desperate, begging for fights, and it's not cool, man. Shit ain't attractive. He's like the ugly girl at the dance trying to get attention. And right now, he ain't going to get that attention because he's not in position for any of these fights. He's number one with the WBO, but Canelo's not going to. Canelo and the WBO are not going to force that mandatory right now. And Canelo got other plans. And it don't involve Demetrius Andrade. He's a second in line waiting for the WBC. He still needs to wait for Charlo, the WBC champion, to make a mandatory defense against Charles Hatley whenever that fucking happens. And then hopefully Andrade will be next in line. He's not rated by the IBF, so it makes absolutely no sense that he's asking for a Charlo fight. He's not even rated by the IBF. And you really think that Heyman and his team are just going to say, yeah, let's have Jamal fight Andrade, a guy that brings no hardware, no recognition, no name recognition, not the biggest name, not the biggest fight out there. It makes absolutely no sense for Jamal Charlo to fight Demetrius Andrade right now. Andrade needs to pick up a strap. He needs to get some recognition, get more exposure. He needs another big win. And right now, it's been 2 wasted years in his career. Prime of his career just being wasted away. Only one fight last year, a showcase fight. Only one fight this year against a contender in Willie Nelson. And now what? There's some bullshit going on with Jack Holkay. I understand the terms in the contract weren't favorable to you. Some bullshit clauses. But you need to make up your mind, Andrade. Are you going to go to Germany for shit money, barely 6 figures? You could possibly get screwed. Might not get a fair shake, a fair decision. And Jack Holkay is a pretty good fighter. So, overall, when you look at the landscape of the deal with Holkay, it's shit money. You have to go over to Germany. You could possibly get screwed. And Holkay can fight a little bit. He could derail your ambition, your plans to take over the 154-pound division. So looking back at it now, there's some upsides or downsides to it. The money is crap. The upside is you become the mandatory to Lara's belt, who recently called you out, but I don't believe a fucking thing Lara says right now. He's full of shit. He just cherry-picked Yuri Foreman. He calls out Triple G, saying to tell his team to make the fight with Lara, and then he fights fucking Yuri Foreman. Why the fuck you fighting Yuri Foreman, bro? 14 other guys in WBA rankings, and you're fighting the most easiest opponent of all the 15 opponents rated by WBA. So I don't believe a damn fucking thing Lara says when he's saying to close the fight with Andrade. Because that will only happen if Andrade goes to Germany and beats Holkay, if that fight even materializes. Another meaningless purse bid is scheduled. Looks like the same shit's going to happen. Holkay's promoters, handlers are going to win the bid. They're going to put some clauses in the contract. Andrade is going to end up not taking the fight and wasting his time. So Andrade needs to make up his mind. What's the route here? I would say it's the WBC or the WBO. He can possibly get a vacant title shot once Canelo vacates that belt. And it could be sooner rather than later. Or he could wait for the WBC. But right now, he just needs to stay busy. Get another fight in. See if Showtime will be interested in airing another one of your fights for the first quarter of next year, because it's too late right now. The year's pretty much closed for boxing. You just need to get back in the ring and stay busy, man. And realize that it's you that put yourself in the situation. You could have been at a much higher ceiling right now, man, had you took that Jermell Charlo fight. Had you beaten Charlo, you would have been featured on Showtime multiple times, perhaps gotten other fights with other Al Heyman clients. You could have been in position, being mentioned among being able to challenge Canelo or Golovkin. You would have been in a much better position. You would have probably possibly been a unified champion by now. But you backtracked your career. You delayed it. And look at you now, man. You freaking begging for fights against guys that were looking up to you at one point. You're freaking in the rankings and you can't get fights because you got 3 strikes on you, man. You're a southpaw, you're dangerous, and you're not the biggest name on the table. So you fucked your shit up, Andrade. You still feeling the effects of your dumb business decision by trying to sign with a neophyte promoter who hustled you. and now you're asked out, waiting for fights, and you're with a promotional team that doesn't have the strongest connections or backing to really get you to that world stage position that you want to be. You got the skills, man. You got the talent. You could be the best 54 pounder. Doesn't look like the Koke fight's gonna happen, which would have put you in position for Lara. Lara's bullshit. He ain't gonna fight you, bro. Would like to see you drop that chump and regain that super dub and get a WBA strap in the process, but just doesn't seem likely. Definitely have the tools, the talent to be the best. There are some flaws. Your chin may be questionable, but you need to get in there to find out how good you are. It's a shame, man. 28 years old, man. Your prime's just wasting away. Another wasted year in your career. Let's see what 2017 brings you. Hopefully much more good fortune. Perhaps get you out of this hole that you created for yourself. I wish you the best, Andrade. Hopefully you can get a big fight in the near future. This is Boxing Truth. I'm out.